Hello everyone, it's Anatika here. I'm so happy that you are here. I have a card here with you today and I'm focusing on all things florally like. Now I'm using a Graphic 45 papers, Sizzix sparkly paper, and then Prima flowers from my stash, bit of die cutting, distress ink, and one color of the new Pops of Color from scrapbook.com. Now I have already prepared my card base and it is 5 by 7 inches, and I cut the first panel to the same size and then I cut each of the other papers about a 1/4 inch smaller, so you always have a frame or so. Now I use distress ink in Mowed Lawn and then picked raspberry to ink the edges. I really like inking the edges of pattern papers, well anything really, because it adds a little bit of dimension and interest really. It is so easy to do but it gives quite a nice effect. Now here I was figuring out whether I wanted these to be pink or green, so I decided on a green for the sparkly one. And it looks absolutely beautiful, adding a bit of ink to a white glitter paper. It is just so much fun to see how that paper changes. And then I use the picked raspberry ink for the edges of the paper with the flowers. Now when I had them all inked up, my plan is to add them to the card base, and since this is really a clean card, I wanted to add a bit of dimension, and so I did that with the other 2 layers. So the first one I just stick right on the card base itself. Now the rest I'll be adding foam tape to the back, and I am using this big mama tape. I mean, this is huge. This is foam adhesive from scrapbook.com and this is 2 inch wide. I love it. It makes any kind of card making layering just go by so fast. I love it. And it is a strong adhesive, and the foam itself keeps its shape. It doesn't flatten out that much. I love it. It's just my absolute favorite. And then I just stick that to the card base itself, and then I do the same thing with the floral pattern. Now you can get this foam tape in many different widths, so it does not only come in a 2 inch width, it has 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8 I believe, I'm not too sure, but there's a grand selection. So just pick the width that you like and go from there. I have several widths, but hey, I like foam tape. So then I have the basis of my card ready, and I just need to pick the sticker I want to use. Now these are just cardstock stickers. They are really thick, but I wanted them to be a bit thicker. I didn't have the chipboard pieces that go with this collection, so I picked my sticker and I decided to back it with just regular cardstock. So I just pulled some white I had next to me, and this sticker is, well, it's 2 in 1. So I had to fiddle a wee bit so to make sure that the frame was still in its correct place. Took me a bit of time, but that's all right. And then I just cut the excess white cardstock and I am good to go. And this is just because I want to layer things, I want to add a bit more foam tape, so I know I wanted a bit of a sturdier background, so to speak. So I decided to go for the cardstock version for that. And then just to make things look a bit more cohesive, I added ink to the edges of this one as well. Also, it hides the white cardstock underneath, and like I say, it gives it a bit more cohesive look in a way. And as I mentioned, I will be using a bit of foam tape, and here I'm adding a bit more because hey, why not? I like dimension. And I want this to be in the center of the card, and I wanted to add a bit of a, I guess, grounding or frame is more the word I think I'm looking for. So I pulled one of my Spellbinder dies and the same glitter cardstock, and I'm using mint tape to make sure the die doesn't go traveling while die cutting. And the sandwich I use is just the base itself, and then I use the magic mat and then the plate above, and it cuts beautifully. Now I want to add a bit of colour as well, so I decided to use the picked raspberry ink for this die cut to add a bit of subtle pink to it. Like I said, I just love how ink looks on these beautiful glitter pieces, absolutely beautiful. Now I just add this to the die cut itself. I mean, it's not a big piece, but it adds quite a lot to the whole piece. And yes, I am adding one more layer of foam tape. Surprise! And then I just stick that to the card and keeping it like centered-ish or so. And now I just need to add the flowers to my card. I'm just picking two of these larger, well, it's a medium size kind of, but the larger flowers in this case, and just put them to the opposite corners. And then I'm adding smaller paper flowers, and these are from Iron Roses. I have quite a good stash of these white ones because they are very nice to have on hand, and if I need a color one, I can always color them. So in order to stick these down, I use double-sided tape, very strong tape, and I put that on the back on each and every one of the flowers. And since I know that this will stay there for good, but I also want a wee bit of wiggle room, so I use a combination of this strong tape. This is scrap.com tape. You could use that or score tape or anything similar. And then I add liquid glue as well. In this case I use the Tonic Nouveau adhesive, and that way I get a really good strong hold, but then I do get the wiggle room as well. So it's the best of both worlds, really. I like to stick this down to the opposite corners, and when those are done, I add the smaller flowers here and there. And I think I ended up using 6 of the smaller ones. And I do the same thing with those. I add a bit of tape and then liquid adhesive as well. And I'm just giving the flowers a wee bit of a push to make sure that things are adhered. Now I'm using the soft pink color from the Pops of Color from scrap.com to create little pearls. I'm sort of my head getting in the way, but it won't be there all the time, sorry. I'm just adding them here and there. No rhyme or reason, just going by the way it looks and stuff. And I just, well, use the bottle and give it a soft squeeze and then swirl it around while releasing the pressure while swirling. And this way I get pretty rounded tops. And that is the card done. Pink and green card that says basically, I am so ready for spring. This winter has been a good one, but I want something pretty to look at, like flowers. So thanks ever so much for watching, and here are a few still shots for you to have a look at, and I will have links to everything I use down below if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!